What's up everyone? This is a special video because you all get to see my face for the first time. I'm just experimenting with the format of my videos a little, so for this one I'm going to be mixing images with me speaking. Now last video I talked about the concept of the king. In this video I want to break down the path to Pirate King. Now from the very start of the story we're told that the Grand Line is basically like a giant tournament, where the strong pirates live and move on, and the weak fall off. Now we are starting to see that Oda has crafted an incredibly well-structured and honestly realistic sense of competition in his world. It's like the prize or trophy is One Piece, and the title of Pirate King is the same as champion. Now the path to Pirate King can be thought of in two ways, upwards and forwards. So just the setting of the Grand Line is the perfect representation of Oda's idea. Reverse Mountain is the starting point, and once you're in, you move forward towards the end of the Grand Line, towards the final goal, One Piece. Moving forward in the Grand Line and getting closer to One Piece is the same as metaphorically climbing upwards towards the top of the pirate world. So it's a climb and it's a journey. Now among all the competition for Pirate King, at the very bottom we have the No Hopes. We are introduced to them at the very beginning of the series. These are the guys who never even had a chance. Some big shot in East Blue like Kreig is actually just a dime a dozen, just a nobody pirate who has no idea what the actual level of competition for Pirate King is like. They're the big fishes in small ponds. They're the guys who aren't special but don't know it yet, and right off the bat Luffy's able to easily pick them off because he actually has that talent, that potential to move onwards and upwards. Now along the way, Luffy starts facing some guys with real ability and ambition. But the Grand Line is considered the pirate's graveyard for a reason. And just as we see Luffy as a hotshot young talent with a big dream of becoming Pirate King, Oda makes sure to make the climb to the top feel very real by giving us plenty of examples of failed Luffys along the way. Those other guys who also dream big, who look like they had the potential, the talent, the drive, the ambition, but ultimately fell short. We are shown the dark parallels of what Luffy could become, the pitfalls on the path to Pirate King, and the seriousness of his undertaking is really put into perspective. It's no coincidence that every Shichibukai Luffy beat wanted to become Pirate King themselves originally. Guys like Crocodile and Moria tried to climb up that ladder but were brutally crushed and sent back down the ladder, the same way that literally they were beaten in the New World and then sent running back to paradise. But they're still big dreamers. They're left to futilely plot and scheme and try and fantasize ways of somehow getting back in the race for Pirate King. So far this category is represented by Doflamingo, a gatekeeper of sorts. Someone on the cusp of reaching the top and is close to becoming a contender, but ultimately you know he's not making it to the top, that he's nothing compared to the real contenders. He's still going to get his dreams crushed, he's just managed to get a little further and last a little longer than the Crocodile and Moria types. And he's not going to get beat down by the top dogs because he's managed to find himself a safe, stable place in the pecking order, he knows his spot in the hierarchy, and he's not challenging the Yonkou. I'm sure that there are other Doflamingos that we have yet to see, those exceptional one-of-a-kind individuals who've managed to survive in the New World, who are safely positioned underneath the Yonkou and still dream secretly of becoming Pirate King, but ultimately they lack that extra edge that the true contenders have. It's just like any sport, where a competitor with a lot of talent gets near the top of the game, but then goes stagnant. And you know what the natural thing is that happens? A new, younger contender with even more potential passes that guy on the ladder. And at the top of any competition, of course you're going to have the superstars. In the One Piece world, these are the Yonkou, the top dogs. The ones who realistically are the true contenders for the title of Pirate King. And I can't hammer this enough, but this is realistically what you see at the top level of any competition. The 1 in a billion talents, the generational, gifted by God, athletic freaks, the alphast of alpha out there, the ones who are champions in their own right and are fighting for a single spot. The New World isn't big enough for the 4 of them because there are literally 4 emperors. It's a beautiful world Oda has created where there are 4 kings, but there can only be 1. And lastly, just like any real-world competition, you have the rising stars. In the One Piece world, they are rightly recognized as rookies in the first half. And again, if you think about it in sports terms, Oda wrote things very realistically, because Year 1 rookies are never going to be the best in any competition, but they can make a name for themselves. And that's why we see before the time skip, they're famous rookies, but they're not actually that strong. But you know, you give them a couple of years in the league, they turn from rookies into rising stars, into those up-and-comers, the guys who start to take over the game. Still a little rough around the edges, still lacking some experience, but with clear potential. And once they put it all together, then they'll become the new generation and phase the old talent out. And in One Piece, we get to see this happen in the current storyline. So again, this is a very well-written, very realistic ladder system that Oda has created for a fantasy series. We got to see the up-and-comers who tried and failed, the up-and-comers who ended up stuck in limbo, and now we get to see the up-and-comers whose dreams are still alive and kicking. And we're going to get to see those dreams crushed in the present story, because guess what? There can only be one Pirate King. If you like this video, then feel free to subscribe for more content every week.